talk about water first. So it's not just about millets. That's not the only topic we are discussing here in this whole thing. So the focus has been, yes, on millets, but everything else around us is also equally important. Say the oils are important. The containers in which we eat are important. The way we cook is important. And equally important is another major part, 70 to 75% of our body is water. So the water we drink is also equally important, and being able to drink good water is surely going to give you good health, and when the water is not right, being healthy is difficult. So let's talk a little bit about water. So I think by now most of you already have steel bottles to drink the water. So first thing, how do we cleanse the water which we get in our taps or the system which is being through which we are provided with water? So the first thing which we need to do is allow the water to stand. Such a simple step, but we usually forget it, that allow sedimentation to occur. The gravitational force is going to let the bigger particles settle down and do the first step of purification of water. So this is one simple step which most of us are forgetting to do. There are surely going to be some amount of impurities which are coming with the water. So just allow the water to stand so that the heavy particles with the help of gravity settle down. And when you have done this, it becomes evident that next thing, the tap which we use in the water containers should not be in the bottom level. You must have been seeing we are using a cup with a long stick to take the water out. So once sedimentation has occurred, do not use the water which is at the bottom. The sediments are at the bottom. So we have to use the water which is at the top part and leave the water which is at the bottom with the sedimented particles. The next step is treating it with copper. It has been an age-old practice in our Indian tradition to use water which has therein copper. So why is copper important? So there are, again we come back to the electrons. Electrons seem to be coming into focus quite often. So there are 29 electrons in the structure of copper, and the arrangement goes as these are the orbitals, different levels of energy in which the electrons are distributed. So in the s orbital is oval in shape, round in shape. So in the center is the nucleus, and the electrons are running around the nucleus. So s orbital, the maximum number of electrons which can be present is 2. So at the first energy level there is only one s orbital, and in that there are 2 electrons. Then the second level, energy level, there are 2 s electrons, and p orbitals are usually represented in this shape, and they are present in 3 dimensions. So x axis, y axis and z axis. So it is possible to have 6 electrons in the p orbitals. So 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 6, 10, again 10 plus 2, 12, 18. So the filling happens in this way. Okay. So the last orbital, the d orbital, is having 9 electrons in it. Complete d orbital should have 10 electrons. If it has 10 electrons, then it is stable. s orbital can maximum have 2 electrons, and if it has 2 electrons it will be stable. So this d orbital wants to become stable and pulls away 1 electron from the next energy level, that is the 4s electron, and it becomes 3d10. Then this becomes 4s1. Again 4s orbital feels unstable and it tries to pull away this electron and becomes 4s2, and this becomes 3d9, and again that electron is constantly moving between the 3d9, 3d10 and 4s1, 4s2. So the electron keeps shifting, and because of this property of copper, the moving electron, as I said, this electron which moves has the capacity to damage cells. So what does it do? It is going to damage the cell wall of the bacteria or the virus, and it eliminates the bacteria and viruses which are present in the water. So this is how copper is going to help you to cleanse your water. And then what do we do with this killed bacteria and viruses? So what is the solution to remove them is using of drumstick seeds. If you go back to the villages, you will observe that if there is a well, usually there are drumstick plants around the well, or if there is a pond from where the villagers collect water, drumstick plants are usually, trees are present all around the periphery of that. So the reason is the drumstick, when it becomes big, then dries, then the seeds fall into the water. It has the capacity to absorb all the suspended particles. The heavy particles would have settled down because of sedimentation. The remaining substances which were suspended in the water, it absorbs all of them. So a simple way to purify your water would be to use a copper strip, or you can use a copper vessel as well, but cleaning the copper vessel each time becomes a tedious process at home. So we usually suggest just use a copper strip. So for a 20-liter vessel, you can use your forearm length of copper strip, this wide. It will be sufficient to remove all the bacteria and viruses present in the water. And then 2 drumstick seeds, dried drumstick seeds, remove them and throw them away, since they would have absorbed all the suspended particles and the dead bacteria. And once in 2 days, if you are going to clean the copper, you will have pure water ready at it is affordable for everyone. So you just have to make sure that the vessel you are putting it in is again not plastic, and you can either use a mud pot or a steel vessel. So this is a simple way in which you can purify your water for your consumption. Yeah, so at least 6 to 8 hours when you allow the water to be standing and in contact with copper, this process is going to happen. So don't heat the water in copper vessels. That is not good. Using copper for cooking is not good. It's only for storage which copper is good to be used. And how do we clean the copper? So everyone knows that copper is cleaned when you use a sour substance. So it can either be tamarind soaked in water used to rub the copper, or you can use nimbu peels, the lemon peel which after squeezing it will still have some amount of juice left in it, that can be used to clean the copper. At least once in 2 to 3 days clean the copper, then you will be able to get good water for drinking.
Madam, structured water is fine and it gives the bacteria and all, but what we get is this filtered water. Is that still good, or we need to
filter? If you want to use the filter, after filtration, make sure that it is going through this process.
One question. Why do you call water stored in copper container is structured water?
It is.
What do you mean by structured water?
Yeah.
And how does it, I mean, cleaning is okay, but if you drink structured water, what happens in our body?
It again comes back to the electrons and the way in which the hydrogen and the OH, so water is H2O, H plus and OH minus. The way it becomes arranged when it goes through this process, the alignment, that is why it is called structured water. And inside our body, it doesn't cause an imbalance when it is in a structured way. Usually flowing water is structured water, but we cannot directly go and get flowing water for our consumption. So this process brings it close to that kind of structure where the H plus and the OH minus get aligned in a way so that they don't cause imbalance in our body. Yeah, I think probably I can.
And how many days we has to clean the vessel?
2 to 3 days.
But suppose the big pot.
Yes.
Again to
Yes. That is why it is difficult. We suggest use a steel vessel with a copper plate.
But is it available in the market?
Yes.
Copper plate called?
Yes, sheets are available. You can get it cut into appropriate sized. We have even for the water bottle, steel water bottle, we have a strip which can be put inside.
Okay. All the while.
Yeah, you can remove it, clean it, put it back. When you're traveling, you can use that. Okay, so we have.
In Ayurveda, they say copper is hot, like no, it's heating, it heats up the body. So better not to use it in summer. And and they say if you're using copper all the time, like in the morning it's okay, but if you're using it all the time, better to not use it for 1 month and then use it for 3 months like that.
I personally am not aware about this, but as far as I can see, there is not going to be any problem caused by using this. But I have seen people who have more heat in their body wear rings made of copper to cool their body. This is also a practice which I have come across. Just a copper ring on their finger, or they wear it around their neck. People who have more issues of heat in their body, to cool down the body, they use copper ring. This is what I have seen. I'm not aware about what you are saying. Yes, yes. As long as you're not heating it, cooking in the copper vessel, it is good. So the problem when you heat it in that, there is substance entering your body, and that is slightly toxic to the liver. So many people, when we tell them to do this, they say copper is toxic to the liver. Copper, when you are just making it in contact with the water, you are not going to be consuming. Only when you heat it in that, there is chances of that happening. So don't use copper vessels for cooking. Okay. So first I said
Alkaline water is how to compare with this?
It would be great if you
How
guys
to
can ask
compare
the question
alkaline
in-
water with this?
So we are talking about water which is potable, how to purify it for your use. There is, of course, now the problem of very acidic water being collected when you are doing rainwater harvesting. There is the question of lot of chemicals being present because of the pollution through industries, which is not really potable at all. So to make that kind of water potable, there are different processes. Like I think you are referring to the tanks which are being, yes. So that is when you are using water which is acidic in nature to make it potable. We are talking about potable water, how to purify it for consumption and ensure that it's not going to be harmful to you. Okay. So instead of using the water purifiers, this is a much more economic and much more healthy way to use the water. So we spoke about plastic being to be avoided, but then let us see why plastic is now such a dangerous substance for us and how it has come into our lives to an extent that we have water bottles. Silver is very similar to copper in its electronic structure. It is going to have the same thing happening at the next level between 4D9 and 5S. The electronic structure of silver is very much similar to copper. It's just this process happening between 4S and 3D will be happening there between 4D and 5S. So silver is also very similar to copper. The only difference is because of its larger size and the different energy level, it will not be equivalent to copper because the microbes which we are talking about are very, very minute. It is also effective, but copper would be one step better than silver if you're talking about because of the energy level and the size of the particle. So silver atom is a little huger, but it will still also have a similar effect. So probably that would be a good thing. What he is saying is, in the summer, those who have lot of heat could probably replace it with silver, but ideally copper will have the best effect. Okay. If you have to worry about the heat and cold, if your body is so reactive towards it, usually there are other ways in which you can balance it, I guess.
Long back, my grandmother, she used to keep one vessel under the moonlight with water. And the boys, from whose nostril the blood comes out,
Yes.
he used to give them.
Yes.
So it was very curable.
Yes. In homeopathy also we have medicine made from lunar energy as well. Yes. Cooling effect will be got to the body.